To be here with you this evening. I flew hundreds and hundreds of miles from New York because I want nothing more than to at least stress to you the importance of history, the importance of heritage, and the importance of one's healthy identity formation. I recently read a poll conducted on adolescents who were asked what they'd like to be when they grow up. And I quote, their answer was quite simple, and I quote, "Rich." And it's really not funny. Not rich in service, not rich in helping humankind, but just rich. And it touched me. What happened? What happened to our humanity? What happened to our compassion? Because this sort of preoccupation with material gain only should be unacceptable. January 15th marks the 83rd birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and January 16th marked the National Observed Holiday. My sister and I yesterday made a very historic moment. I shared with some. She and I were in Philadelphia, and we had the honor of ringing the Liberty Bell. Now that was a big honor because we're the daughters of Malcolm X, right? And so we had the honor to ring the Liberty Bell for Dr. King. That was a very, very big honor. And so our nation and the world, our nation and the world were reminded of how far we've come since the days of the transatlantic slave trade, the largest forced migration of technically advanced and culturally diverse African men, women, and children. Healthy and skilled African men and women who laid the foundations upon which North America, South America, Central America, and the Caribbean now stand. The missing part of our history, the missing part of our heritage, the missing part of our identity. I'm here to plead with you. You see, we have not honored those ancestors properly. We have not honored those African men and women who laid the foundation for all of us here today, because we are in denial of the African Holocaust. Most times, people don't want to talk about it. One is often termed a racist just for having compassion for the African experience, for speaking truth to one's identity. But how are we going to progress as a people and ultimately as a nation if we are not honest about the birthplace of civilization, and if we're not honest about Africa's significant contribution to world history, and to the history of this great nation from which each one of us benefit today. Some of us say leave slavery in the past. They say that the struggle died with Brother Malcolm. They say that the struggle died with Dr. King. They say that we all have equal access. We all have our individual freedoms and liberties to make a good living. Look at all the wealthy athletes. Look at all the wealthy actors and musicians. Look at LeBron James. Look at Halle Berry. Look at Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Kanye West. Look at Oprah. We've been conditioned to think that we are singular, insular individuals who must strive and accomplish alone. That we must pull our individual selves up by our own bootstraps. But if we take an honest look around, young men and women, we must admit that it isn't working. Brother Malcolm helped us to understand the importance of that African proverb, that it takes a village to raise a child. Brother Malcolm helped us to understand that we must stand for something or simply get out the way. We saw the young people on Wall Street. We saw the young people in Tunisia and Egypt and all across the borders take a stand for justice. We see the young people all across this land who understand that the struggle is not over. How can the struggle be over when 60% of Black and Latino young men are shackled within the confines of jails and prisons throughout this country? 60%. How can the movement be over when so many of our babies are giving birth to babies without a clue as to what it